Good afternoon. Welcome back to Moneycontrol's live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Lavisha Darad. Well, it turned out to be quite a volatile session for today. Seventh day of downturn for the Indian markets. Sensex fell about 200 points below that 77,400 levels, while Nifty also slipped flat in the red below that 23,500 odd levels. Now, if we recap the entire session, we started off well in the green, but we quickly dropped into the negative territory. Even in the second half of the session, we saw that the benchmarks recover from their day's lows as bottom fishing started to emerge, but then eventually we did end in the negative territory as well. If you look at volatility index, India Wix, that also started off with a 8% spike, but it settled with 3% surge as well. Let's look at broader markets, what the broader end of the markets did. Mid cap settled flat while small caps continued to underperform as well. Quite a bit of a sell-off that we saw in the broader end of the markets as well. Among sectors, if you look at Nifty Metal Index, that was a top performer of the day after China withdrew its export tax rebate measures. So as a result, we saw that Hindalco, which was emerged as the top Nifty 50 performer. On the contrary, we saw Nifty IT Index that started the week low after 2 consecutive weeks of rally. This came after Fed's chair remarks on rate cuts. Now, he said that the Fed officials weren't in a hurry to cut rates anytime soon. So that is coming in for the IT index as well. If you look at some of the top Nifty 50 gainers and losers, well, the first is Hindalco, which was 3% up after the China's latest measures that were announced over the weekend. Apart from that, we had Hero MotoCorp that settled with 2% surge as well after it reported a strong Q2 performance. Tata Steel, HUL, M&M, they were also some of the top Nifty 50 gainers as well. If you look at some of the top Nifty losers, that turned out to be TCS, BPCL, Infosys, Dr. Reddy's Lab, and Trent. Trent, of course, continuing its downward trend after its disappointing Q2 performance for the street. And of course, IT stocks that also topped the Nifty 50 losers chart with TCS and Infosys as some of the top Nifty 50 losers as well. If you look at Nifty 500 gainers, that turned out to be Godrej Industries, Nalco, and Muthoot Finance. Muthoot Finance coming out with its strong Q2 numbers. And Nifty 50 losers, if you look at, it's Honasa Consumer, IGL, Nugent Software. Honasa Consumer, we will be discussing more about it later in the segment as well. It hit 20% upper circuit, hit about that 52-week low, and also slipped below its IPO price level. But without much further ado, let's quickly get on board with our market expert, Jay Thakkar of ICICI Securities. Jay, good afternoon. So good to have you on the show.
Hi, very good afternoon to you, and likewise, it's always good pleasure to be on your show. Yeah.
Okay. Jay, Nifty, it's much below that 200 DMA levels, nearly 100 points. We were expecting certain technical pullback for today's session, but even today we did not see a respite. So what do you believe? Do you think that we have reached the bottom, or can we see further sell-off from here on?
Well, see, this is a very interesting question. In the past two occasions, I would like to bring to your notice is that in September 2022. So I'm saying since COVID, we did not see a close below 200 DMA in 2021, but in September 22 we did see. So it went down below 200 DMA for a couple of trading sessions and bounced back quickly. Then in 2023, somewhere in March 2023, it went below 200 DMA significantly as in it went by 3-4% at least. And thereafter it bounced back and never came back below 200 DMA. So since March 23 until this November 24, we did not see a close below 24. But then year-wise we did see, right? September, then April, now again back in November. We have seen in this calendar year it's going below 24, it's going below 2200, 200 DMA. So can it sustain below those levels? Definitely, because that's the trigger point on the for the sell-off. Bank Nifty is holding out, I would say. So 50,000 there remains very critical. Going forward, if Bank Nifty breaks 50,000 levels, that would add the pressure on the Nifty. Otherwise, apart from BFSI segment, if you look at the overall market, apart from BFSI and apart from IT, these two contribute 50% approximately to Nifty. So 50% Nifty is oversold. Apart from these two sectors, it's oversold. Only these two sectors can get it more down. Otherwise, Nifty can bounce back.
Okay. But Bank Nifty, as you mentioned, what are the next levels to watch out for Bank Nifty index? It stood well above its 200 DMA average as well. So what can we expect on Bank Nifty index?
Sure. See, Bank Nifty has relatively outperformed Nifty. And here, if you see 50,000 level on Bank Nifty is a very, very critical support. I mean, that's also nearest 200 DMA. And Bank Nifty options data. See, now we have to look at the monthly options data for Bank Nifty because there is no more weekly options data from this weekly or from this week onwards. So Bank Nifty directly at 27 November, if you see 50,000 as the highest open interest, I mean, it has got around 17 lakh shares out there on put options on the 50,000 strike. Likewise on the upside 51,000 strike it has around 17 lakh shares. So the current range is 51,000 to 50,000. I don't see Bank Nifty going beyond 51,000 as of now, but a break below 50,000 can get it to 49,000 to 48,500. So that's the only support level which is there on Bank Nifty as of now at present is 50,000. It's a make or break level.
Okay, all right. Metal counters that stood out well in today's week session. We saw that most of the metal counters here, Nalco, Hindalco, in fact, Vedanta, all of them, surged about that 10% in today's trading session after China removed export tax rebate for aluminium and copper products from next month onwards. But what is your outlook for the near term? Because after China's stimulus measures, metal stocks saw quite a bit of a profit booking in the next month as well. But today also it has seen quite a buying interest among market participants. What is the near-term hold? Do you think that? Hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. What is the near-term hold? Do you think that the move is sustainable?
See, well, I would say that short-term metals can bounce back. Aluminum prices definitely were up by 5%, and we did see, the stocks like National Aluminum going up more than 10, 11%. In fact, it has come into the FNO ban as well in today's session. I don't think that anyone could then now take a position out there. And apart from that, Hindalco has also bounced back quite well sharply on the upside. Maybe, stocks like Vedanta, Tata Steel, all of them have bounced back. They're all quite oversold. But as of now, whether the pain is over, I don't think so. See, one side you have, it's quite interesting. On the one side you have China giving the stimulus, metal prices going up. On the second side, DXY going up day on day. Now, dollar index is having a negative correlation with the metals. So, if dollar index goes up, metals come down. And on the other side, China is giving the stimulus. So one is getting the index up and one is getting the index down. So net is going to be sideways to negative only. If at all there is any bounce, it would be a good exit opportunity for those who were stuck at the higher levels.
Okay, all right. But dollar index, you're saying that that could be playing a spoil sport for the metal counters. So can we expect certain pressure to come in after Trump assumes power?
I'm sorry, I was unable to hear your question.
No, I was saying that you said that the dollar index, a stronger dollar index basically means weaker for the metal names. So, what do you expect after Trump resumes power?
Your question is on the broader markets. I was really
No,
unable
no,
to.
metal stocks itself.
Metal stock itself, okay.
Yeah.
See, as far as metals are concerned, I would say the one stock which I think is providing or may provide a good risk reward going forward is Vedanta, and second would be National Aluminium. National Aluminium, I'm really bullish from the longer term point of view. I don't see this stock going, 200 levels for that matter. 200 to 180 is a very, very crucial support for the long term. Although this stock has now got into the FNO ban period, so I think it may remain so at least until the expiry day. So trading in the derivative market is anyway which is not advisable in this kind of a volatile markets when the India VIX is rising and IVs are likely to rise as well, at least until the state election results are out on Saturday. So the impact of the same would be on a Monday. So Monday probably you can see the IVs coming down, but at least until Friday the IVs are likely to go up. So in that scenario, trading aggressively overnight on the future segment or the derivative segment is not advisable. Options or long positions are always okay because they have a limited risk, so the payoff is such. But then from the investment point of view, I think one stock which I or two stocks which I like from the metal type first would be Vedanta, second would be Nalco, or maybe there is no sequence into it. It's just two stocks, so it either can be one as one or second. But these are the two stocks which I'm very clear and which are really convincing from the long term point of view, looking at the technicals or derivatives data.
Okay. So moving on from metal names, IT stocks that were also the top laggards of today's trade after Fed chief indicated that they were not in a hurry for further interest rate cuts. We saw the names, IT stocks, they rallied quite a bit from the past 2 weeks on hopes of that the pain is over. But now again, we're seeing some underperformance. So do you believe, Jay, that this is just a sentimental reaction, or what can we expect for the near term for IT names?
For the near term, I believe that IT is likely to stay, at least for this expiry, IT is likely to stay within this range, broader range of 40,000 to 43,000. Now, that's the range, and you get right now in the middle of the range at 41,500. 50, 100 points from year on is 4% up and 4% down. That's a good range on the upside and downside. Is understanding that we have 2 weeks for now for the expiry. So 4% up, 4% down for an index above trading above 40,000 is a reasonable range of 8%, right? Because see, since long, I would say at least since September series, we haven't seen Nifty IT going beyond the levels of 43,000. So that's a very clear cut resistance. That is where we are seeing continuous supply. But on the flip side, I would say that 40,000 is also a good psychological mark, wherein we are seeing a good bounce coming on the Nifty IT space. And from the longer term point of view, I don't see IT index actually going below 39,000 levels as well. So downside is restricted or limited at around 39,000 from the long term point of view on Nifty IT. And from a short term point of view, as you asked, I think 40,000 is a very critical support. I don't see IT index going below those levels. If all it comes to those levels, it's a good buy. What to buy? I think TCS, Infosys, these large names or large cap names should be in focus when it comes to 40,000 and below 40, beyond 43,000. If it managed to go, it would be a good breakout of 3,000 points. I mean, thereafter you can see IT index really outperforming all the other markets or all the other indices, rather, I would put it. Else, it might just trade within this range of say 3,000 points, 43 and 40.
Okay, all right. Let's take some stocks in focus. Hero Motocorp, that was the top Nifty 50 performer in today's trading session. Jay, Q2 performance, that was quite solid for Hero Motocorp. And even brokerages have turned out to be quite positive on the counter. So do you think that there is more room for run up for the stock for Hero Motocorp?
Hero Motocorp, obviously, for the long term is definitely good. For the short term, we have seen slow down a bit. At least, the numbers are not that great. I would say the monthly sales or the quarterly results, and the stock is trading well below its 200 DMA, which is traded, pegged at around 5,200 levels. So, see, short term Nifty Auto has become quite oversold. I mean, you look at the two wheeler space or few of the large four wheelers names like Tata Motors, with Maruti, or maybe Ashok Leyland. It's just that M&M is trading quite strong. Apart from M&M, I think all the other auto names are trading with a negative bias. TVS Motor has just come to its 200 DMA. So this was one of the ultra performer as far as two wheeler space is concerned, and thereafter followed by Bajaj Auto and then Hero Motocorp. But Hero Motocorp definitely on the long term charts is positive. Short term, it can bounce back at least until 5,200 is what I believe. But Nifty Auto as such, overall, as I said, falls into that 50% of the category of Nifty, which is quite oversold. The remaining 50% is banking and IT, which is not oversold. So since it's falling under that 50% category of Nifty, which is quite oversold, I think there is always a good room for a bounce back because the risk reward from here on to go on the short side is not that for the short term traders.
Okay, all right. Just one question more. What are your trading picks at this point of time? We are seeing a bit of a technical correction at this level. Nifty is also down nearly 11% from its September peaks. What do you suggest investors to do at this point of time?
Sure. So I think that one stock which is Voltas, which has been outperforming at the current market levels since past couple of trading sessions. Today it was down, however, by 1% and Voltas is a good buy at on dips. So it closed at around 1690. If you get it at around 1680, it would be a good buy. One can buy this with a stop loss of 1660, targeting around 1710 to 730 going forward. So Voltas is one stock which I think one can buy in the short term. Second stock which I like from here on, I think from the bounce back perspective, uh, would be HUL. I mean, it's quite oversold. It's trading around the levels of 2400, 23 today. FMCG again falls under that Nifty 50 category or 50% category, which is quite oversold. So I think this can also bounce back from the FMCG pack. It's quite oversold. It can bounce back at least until it's 200 DMA, which is 2550 right now at 2423. One can place a stop loss below 2350, so the risk reward is favorable out here. So HUL, Voltas, these are the two names which I think can bounce back. But then I think that from here on, the risk reward, on the short side, on the 50% weightages of the stocks or indices on Nifty which are down are relatively less as compared to that of Bank Nifty and IT. And if Bank Nifty and IT doesn't fall, then Nifty can definitely bounce back. The only thing which can get Nifty down from here on is IT and Bank. If they hold on, if they bounce back, Nifty will not fall much. But if they give up from here on, then it would be another 50% of the Nifty also, or another 50% of the Nifty wherein there is so much of weightage, that also giving up, which can create more pressure. So it's going to be very interesting going forward. I mean, the index is itself divided between 50-50. So let's see from, here on where it goes. The way the IVs are going, I think the probability is downside. But if Nifty Bank and IT helps, then, even in the rising IVs, the market can cool off and bounce back a bit.
All right, Bank Nifty and IT index that we need to watch out. But thank you, Jay. Thank you for sharing your time. We hope that we
Thank
connect
you.
with you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, with that, we have come to an end of this edition of The Closing Bell. Thank you for watching. Do stay tuned to moneycontrol.com for all the news updates and market insights.